Alright, I've already shown you the little big stack of books. Well, it's not a big stack, it's a small stack actually, of books that were all acquired from the library for like 50 cents a piece. Like there that I could have gotten freely anytime I wanted. Simply by visiting the library. And they have more and everything else. And I can already see the argument and the shit talking that, oh my god, you can't learn from a book. Really? Well, I guess we're gonna throw all those books out of school, right? But you do learn from a book. You were raised on book learning. Some people can learn that way, some people can't. And different people have different ways of doing things, and I'm not going to argue one way or the other. But I'm going to say this. You can't just learn from a book. You got to have time to experiment and whatnot. And you do learn better in school, and that is a correct argument. Here's the thing. Some people can't afford it. Some people don't want their name on some organization's books for some reason or another. Some people just want to be able to protect themselves. That's fine. It's not hard to sit there. And you don't have to do everything exactly as it says in the book. Like I said, you take what you need and throw away the rest. If someone tells you, oh, that person's a fraud, that person does nothing, okay, fine. Examine the knowledge. If the knowledge is good, fine. I've heard this argument that I don't like picking on Ashita Kim. He's my buddy, so I get to talk shit and no harm done. But I like to pick on Ashita Kim because you have a lot of people who say, "Oh, he's a fraud. He doesn't teach real ninjutsu." But yet he's freely admitted that he's trained in other martial arts, karate, taekwondo, judo, jiu-jitsu, kung fu. And, oh my god, those martial arts had influence on his ninjutsu. Okay. Well, that's kind of like saying that you can't box if you wrestle. Or you can't play both football and soccer. You can't walk and chew bubble gum. The idea is this. A hater has to hate. A person who does not have that notoriety, who does not have that well-known status, has to bitch and whine and complain. The greatest measure of success that a person has is how much people hate them. The more successful you are, the more people hate you. Think I'm wrong? Look at the number of atheists there are in this world. Even God has haters. Of course, here's the thing about it. We're not talking about whether they hate you, whether they respect you, whether they give a shit about you. We're talking about the knowledge that you're looking at. Whenever you examine any piece of knowledge from any source, ask yourself two questions. First question, can this knowledge benefit me? Second question, can I apply this knowledge if I learn it? Now, I'm going to throw something out here. You see a lot of untrained fighters, they all have the same concept. They throw these big haymakers coming from way out here. You look at a boxer, or even a karate guy, doesn't matter, professional fighter. They keep their shit here, they keep it inside. They don't have these big, huge haymakers, and even when they do swing a hook, it's to the outside, but it's not way out here where they leave themselves wide open. It just comes up like that. Well, now, you can learn that from a book. You can practice that on your own. You can probably pull it off in a real fight. You know, what do I know? I'm from West Virginia, and, you know, we're just country bumpkins out here. You know, according to Bill O'Reilly, we're the main cause of teen pregnancy. Uh, but here's this: I didn't have brothers and sisters. I'm an only child. Me and my friends used to get together, and we used to fight with each other, play, fight, wrestle, actually get mad at each other and kick the living crap out of each other when we were kids growing up, and we learned how to fight. And I would learn something in a karate class, or I would learn something in my judo class, and I go try it on one of my friends, which really sucked because my best friend in grade school, his dad was my karate instructor, so he knew the same shit. But I learned. I have two cousins that are older than me that when I was younger, every time I turned around, let's wrestle, let's fight, because I needed somebody to practice on. They were bigger than me and stronger than me, and they made the perfect practice dummies. At 9 years old, I'm sitting there wrestling, fighting with a damn 13 and a 14-year-old, and then I'd get into a fight at school with a damn 9-year-old, and being used to fighting somebody bigger and stronger, whoop their ass. And unfortunately, I stopped growing after 13. I'm 5'4", and everybody's bigger than me. So hey, it turned out to be good training, right? The idea of self-training is this. You're not trying to become a master. You're not trying to pass on some tradition. You were doing the only thing you can do. You were trying to refine what you know how to do instinctively to make it work better. To do this, you need a tiny, tiny little bit of organizational ability. That means you have to organize your things. And your tiny little bit of organizational theory is broken down into this. You have two categories: what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Simple as that. If you're predisposed to wrestle, you're going to be a damn good grappler, but you might not be a good striker. If you're predisposed to punching people, you might not be a good grappler. If you're predisposed to not do either but talk shit and posture, you're going to get your ass kicked. Learning in a classroom environment is nothing. Everybody makes a big deal out of it. 90%, hell fuck that, 100%, 99.9% of the people out there who are good at what they do aren't good because they had a great teacher. They are good because they had a desire to learn on their own. If you want to tell me self-education is worthless, fuck you. Benjamin Franklin was self-educated. Martin Luther King was self-educated. Yeah, I know, he went to college to be a preacher and study theology. But he learned constitutional law by himself. You should never stop learning. I don't care if you have a black belt. I don't care if you have 10 black belts. I don't care if you're 90 years old. The moment you quit learning, the moment you think there's nothing in this world that you can learn, is the moment you make the greatest mistake in the world. And it doesn't matter who you're learning from. I disagree with everything that Hitler stood for. But I agree with him when he said that all propaganda must be targeted to specific audiences and be on a level for each audience based on education. You can sit here and use big explanative words that attract educated people who already feel that education gives them an advantage in this world. And because they're educated, they're somehow better than Joe the plumber, or Joe the carpenter, or G.I. Joe. And you have to cater to them. And you have guys like Joe the plumber and Joe the carpenter and G.I. Joe who work for a living, who you got to put it in with them. And then you got to have your own special little bit of propaganda for the G.I. Joe types, because they actually know the Constitution and they actually know the law and they're actually willing to stand for it. Do I think that everything Hitler did was wrong? Yes. Do I agree with his methods? No. But I did learn from him, regardless of how I felt about them.